Well, good morning, Brother Chad Long, Delhi Baptist Church. We're going to be short and sweet today because I got a lot I have to go do, and I've been having some computer problems, which I hope I have resolved now. Let me say to those who watch us on Facebook, I'm going to get our Facebook issues fixed this week. No more excuses. I apologize. I had somebody yesterday frustrated because they were enjoying the message and they weren't able to hear it. Now, it is on YouTube, but some people don't choose to watch it that way, so that's good. I'll get it fixed. So thank you for your patience. Of course, most of you who would know what I'm talking about, again, don't watch YouTube, but you might just help spread the word. We're going to get that solved this week. We are in James chapter 5, and this little short section here, it may not apply to you. It may not apply to me. But we need to know about it. We're going to look at it. Okay? So James 5 verse 1 says, go to. Again, go to in the Old King James just means pay attention. Look at here. Okay? Go to now, you rich men. Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. That don't sound very nice, does it? He says, look at here, rich men. Rich guys. This is not everybody who's got money. This is a particular group of people that James wants to call out because they have put their faith in their riches, like the rich young ruler who ran up to Jesus, who was unwilling to part with the things he loved most, which was his belongings. James is telling them, people like him, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. And that just means, well, I'll give you an example and I'll move on. If I were rich, I'd have worries I don't have right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm rich in a lot of ways. I really am. God has been so much better to me than I'll ever deserve. And I've got more than I ever dreamed I would have. I've got more, in a way, than my granddaddy did when he passed. So I'm thankful, and I've got plenty, and I'm not hurting for anything. And I would consider myself rich, but I'm not to the degree he's talking about. I don't have. If I scraped everything I got together, I'd struggle to get. I'd struggle to get 5,000 without going to a bank. To be real honest with you, so and it's quick. It's easy to need that if a vehicle goes down. So I don't consider myself rich as far as in abundance, but I do have plenty. So I don't think he's talking about people like me, though. I think he means people who have more than they could ever spend. I mean, money that just their generation and the next generation are okay, more than okay. People who put their trust and faith in their riches is who he's talking to here, and who don't use it in a way that honors God and helps others. That's who he's talking to. So if you are rich and you're watching this, God bless you. I'm glad you're rich. But I hope that you understand it's all God's, and you give back to him and to what matters to him. So anyway, that's not who this is talking to. It says verse 2, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. See, rich people like to dress nice. The most expensive suit, and I do wear a suit every Sunday, most every Sunday, and I believe in wearing suits, but the most expensive suit I own came from J.C. Penney's. I paid just under $200 for it, and that was only because I got several shirts to go with it. If it had just been the one suit, I think it'd been 100 and something. But I mean, that's the most expensive suit I have. The rest of them either came from pastors who handed them down to me, or from thrift stores, or secondhand stores, or whatever. I only have one suit. It's a gray suit that my wife bought me when I took this position here. She thought I deserved to have a new suit, something from the store. So now, some people wear suits that are well worth over, according to them, over $1,000, and some even more than that. I don't even know. I just know that they get way up there. Rich people like to look nice. They like to buy from fashion designers and have expensive things. He says your riches are worthless. They're corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. And if they're not, they're going to be. You know what I mean? They're just, in the grand scheme of things, they've done you no good, and that's what James means. Verse 3, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. Some of this is not literal as far as eating the flesh. It just means that someday when they're in torment because they don't know God or trust God, they're going to realize how useless their riches were because they gathered it together to help them in the last days. And when the economy crashes, your money can't save you. A lot of people got a taste of that when the stock market crashed, or it didn't completely crash, but when we had the big depression in 2008, and I wasn't alive in 1929, but the big crash in 29 was even worse. But people with a 401k felt some of this back in 2008 or 9, whenever that happened. So there's been a taste of this. Your money's not going to help you if the economy crashes, if there's no value to it. I'll give you an example. Even if you own a bunch of gold and you're trusting gold because gold has always had a value. Well, when the world hits the tribulation period, and especially the latter part of it, and your primary goal is to come up with food, money's going to take a back seat to survival. And if you give me all your gold and I can't eat it, what value is it? It's funny. I've always thought it's neat how we put all this stock into those yellow rocks. It's crazy. But anyway, James points it out here. He says, behold, verse 4, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of the Sabbath. Well, all that means is, all that we need to take away from that, is that rich people have done atrocious things to stay rich, and they have taken advantage of poor people, laborers, workers, people who have given their all just to feed their families and take care of themselves, are suffering under the hand of rich people who just want to get richer, who will squeeze it out of poor people and out of their hard labor. The Egyptians were doing it to the Jews. Before they were Jews, when they were Hebrews, Israelites. The Egyptians were just getting richer and richer and richer, and trying to take it out of the backs of the Hebrews who were building the pyramids and other things. So this has been done throughout history. The rich oppress the poor. Now again, if you have money, this is not necessarily talking about you. It's talking about those who put all their trust in their money. There are rich people who are saved, and praise God for them. There's a lot of charities that wouldn't get any donations if they weren't there. But just be aware that this is a warning to those who have put their trust in riches and not in God. Verse 5 says, you have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. That means more than pleasure. That means over indulging in a variety of sin, in a variety of delight. I saw a rich man from Australia on TV yesterday, and he was just bragging about how he spends his nights with a different woman every night, and he just loves his life. I think of people like Hugh Hefner, who I have nothing personal against, but scripturally speaking, that man is he's at odds with God, and he thinks his life is so wonderful. I wouldn't trade him lives. I wouldn't. And if you don't know who Hugh Hefner is, I'm not going to explain it to you. But anyway, verse 6, you have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. And in verse 7, he's going to get into what he has to say toward the brethren about this. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. What I want you to understand for today is that if you do find yourself in a position of extreme riches, use it to honor and glorify God, and put your faith in the Lord, not in your riches. Be willing to give them up, and God will probably let you keep them. But find yourself loving your riches more than God, and you're doomed. I mean, there's what James is talking about here. And there's comfort for the brethren that we're going to look at tomorrow. But for today, what I want you to take away from this before we close is please, please don't put your faith in your stuff. People can do that who are not quote unquote rich. Don't put your faith in your things. Put your faith in Jesus Christ. Trust Him with all your heart. Get saved today, and then serve the Lord. Riches, you'll have an abundance in heaven. That don't make any difference here. All right, I love you guys. Have a good week.